No?
Why? You don't like
Is it great water?
I would.
Looks
I mean, it probably would. Mississippi would probably be good water.
Boy, I really took you guys for a turn there, didn't I?
I was like, where's he going with this?
I grew with the Missouri. It looks... Hey, travelers. Welcome to the Taproom Takeover podcast. Say that 5 times fast. This is Landon, and of course I have Troy with me, and
we are taking over.
We are taking over the taproom. We're actually here on a day where it's not open, so we want to thank Jenna. We're here at Amery Ale Works in Amery, Wisconsin. Thank you, Jenna, for having us in, and especially on a day where there's nobody here, and you are supposedly have free time, right?
Right.
Makes it real easy for us to take it over.
Big day.
Yeah. So we're actually out... we're not in the city of Amery, but we are near Amery, sitting in what used to be the basement of a barn, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So let's just go through how Amery Ale Works started. So you've been around since...
We are going on our 5th summer.
5th summer.
So this will be our 5th year in business for Amery Ale Works.
Very nice.
How big of a town is Amery?
Population around 3,000. So pretty small year-round, but we do pick up quite a few folks in the summertime. We've got a large lake population where a lot of people from the Twin Cities come over for their cabins. So
I would say that's kind of a fun part about this northern zone of Wisconsin is you get population density goes down. You kind of get these little bars that pop out in the country that are as unique as yours, aren't necessarily as common, but it's kind of fun to be out here.
Yeah, and so like I said, we're sitting in a barn, right? So you converted this barn from like an actual animal/hay barn.
So at one point back in the day, it was animal hay barn.
Yeah.
When I bought the property, so this is a 3-story barn, which is a little interesting. So when I bought the property, the top 2 floors used to be an old antique shop. So the prior owner had an antique shop here, and then the basement was truly the husband's woodworking shop. But underneath all the drywall, when you take it all back, was the old trough floors, the stone foundation. So kind of they built over the barn, but the pieces were still here. And it wasn't up to, obviously, commercial standards. We didn't have water. We didn't have a septic. We didn't have all those things. So you kind of had to start from scratch and take it down and rebuild it from there. But yeah, I mean, you can still see from being here that we've got the 2, I think it's about 2.5 to 3 feet wide of the stone foundation.
I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous in here. You guys did it 100% correctly. I don't know how you can make it any nicer than what it is.
It's beautiful.
And you repurposed a bunch of the barn wood and stuff?
So what's neat about this is some of this is from here, and then other of pieces of this have actually come from other barns. So this piece is from one of our friends' barns that fell down. So we went and recaptured that wood and brought it in here.
It's worth its weight in gold at this point.
Yeah. So we've kind of reused materials where we could and kind of kept it true to standard where possible.
You guys are about as farmhouse ale producing place as you can be. You're in a barn. You're out in the country. You're not near necessarily a big city by any means. You guys are just kicking it out here. It's awesome.
We are. We're doing our little thing.
So when you started, or when you thought that you wanted to make a brewery / food place, what was the thought behind it? Like,
so the thought was really, I would say, finding the property. I found the property first, and it was, you came here, this place has to be shared. And obviously didn't look quite like this. But you just knew, I mean, the outdoor setting here is beautiful. The barn itself is amazing. So I knew it was something that had to be shared. I obviously was not from Amery at the time, so it was trying to figure out what to build that made sense for this community, and what I knew to be dangerous in. And that is a tap room. So and restaurant space, between myself and others that I knew, we had the skills where we thought we could give it a go. And at worst, let's say we built this out and people didn't want it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not from here. Maybe people don't want craft beer. Maybe they don't want a pizza place.
Yeah.
I'd at least have awesome event space.
Yeah.
So I kind of had a fail-back plan of like, let's try this because
Barn
I
weddings.
think it's needed.
Yeah.
But if not, I could do barn weddings. I can do graduations.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because we've built into all those things. So
Yeah.
now we're a tap room, we're a restaurant, and we do events, which is all my favorite things. So it kind of is fun that it ended up being all those things anyway.
Yeah.
And it's not even your full-time job.
No, this is not my full-time job. This is a passionate side hobby. We have an entire part-time crew. All of them either have full-time jobs or are retired stay-at-home parents. So I would say everyone who works here is here because they want to be here.
Right.
That makes it fun.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
That's
we're
great.
super lucky and an
Yeah.
incredible team, but a team that is here because they love the concept, they love what they do, and they really believe in what we've built.
And I'll just give a shout out to Candy because I got to meet Candy.
Yes.
I was here in a previous weekend, and she had asked, "Well, why are you here?" And I said, "I'll be honest with you, we're just checking the space out before we do the podcast." And she goes, "Oh, you're doing a podcast? That's the greatest thing ever. You're gonna love Jenna."
Oh,
And I said,
yeah.
okay.
And Candy is so when we started 5 years ago, you know, I didn't have employees. We weren't even permitted in the kitchen or brewery the day we opened. We just were so excited to get occupancy. So we opened on New Year's Eve, like, great, 10 people are going to come and we don't care. And then we opened and people started coming. We need to be open again. And then we'd slowly permit something and roll out the kitchen and, oh, this is great. Now we want to come for food. And I'll never forget our first summer. We were running out of food left and right. We didn't even have a walk-in cooler. I literally had a double-door refrigerator and a prep table because I didn't think in a town of 3,000 that food would take off.
Right.
And it did. So we spent our whole first year building out walk-in coolers, solving things. But in that, hey, you really need employees, Jenna. We love you. But maybe we should hire people.
a few other folks wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. So then we started growing, and you'll see a lot of my people. I think probably 40% of my staff is my original crew.
Oh, wow.
That's
from
awesome.
the
Pretty good
beginning.
retention.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've just grown. Most people who come on have stayed on. And now we're anywhere from 12 to 16 employees seasonally. So yeah, we're very lucky and blessed.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. So when you guys built this, how big of a brew system did you want to put in? big a brew
The
system?
goal, which is really funny when I think about it now because we're not even there, was a 3 to 5 barrel system, and I'm on a 1.5 barrel.
Oh, my.
Yeah, currently. So we obviously still have room to go there.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's not a very big space. So even as we grow, we kind of learn what we can do in our limited space. I think 3 is probably pushing the limits, but
And you're doing the brewing, correct?
I am doing the brewing.
Now, did you have brewing experience, or is this a learning as you go type of game?
I did it enough again to be dangerous, but
Yeah.
definitely taught by friends. Didn't go to school for it.
Yeah.
Went to school in Colorado to learn how to scale up and open a brewery,
Sure.
but not necessarily on the brewing part. So learning as we go. We've had some great folks come in and brew alongside us and teach us, and now we teach our staff as well. So I brew most of the time, and then I would say one of my other staff members here brews probably 10% of the time to help me out. So
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
And you weren't brewing immediately when you opened, right?
No.
You didn't need that added stress, right?
No. Year one we call was the year of food. And just solving the fact that
That's
food
almost-
took off.
That's almost
Yeah.
what you have to do, though. You're trying to do everything at once when you're kind of like a one-man army like yourself. You know, it's
a
hard.
lot.
Yeah, you get one thing down, get it good,
Yep.
and move on to the
And
next.
that was our
Yeah.
plan. So we didn't start brewing till year 2. You'll see a lot of our reviews say they have beer coming or they have one beer on tap. And that is true. I mean, when we finally got there, we got permanent. We were so excited. We had a beer on tap. And then people would come and we only had one.
Like an old school German brewery.
I know.
What beer do you want? We got the one.
We got
But
the.
you guys are a brewery.
We've got beer. What more do you want?
I know. So I think that's we like to tell people, yes, we are a taproom and brewery, but we're very small. So you'll never see 12 tap lines of our own beer.
Yeah.
We bring in awesome other craft beer to kind of supplement. At one time, we might have up to 6. I think that's the most we've ever had on tap. Right now, we've got 4 plus a seltzer, so that's pretty good for us. But again, us doing it on the side, this is not our full-time jobs.
Right.
So we do what we can. But yeah, beer's only been here probably 4 out of the 5 years.
We don't understand at all. This is our full-time job. I'm just kidding.
See, you know well.
Everybody that's followed us knows very well. This is it's not even a job.
love.
This is it's a labor of love. That's why we do it.
Speaking of which, should we try a beer?
You want to try a beer? Yeah,
can go for a
absolutely.
Start with the pale.
You want to? Sure.
All
we can
right.
start with the pale.
So we'll work our way up the darkness ladder here.
Yeah.
So, just kind of looking at your guys' beer lineup here. You got a brown, you got a pale, you got a holiday, and you got a stout. So not like you go to some breweries and they have the most bizarre kind of like sugary milkshake IPAs. It's kind of refreshing, actually, to come in and not have to.
You didn't want to put any marshmallow in this?
I know, right? Maybe next time. You will find that when you come here, most of the beer we brew is middle of the road, easy drinking, standard brews. One of our biggest sellers is an amber ale, which actually we don't have. And that one I would say we have on tap the most. And then our second biggest seller is actually a coffee stout. Yep. So we have a friend who owns a coffee company, Grumpy Goat, down in Florida. And he will direct roast, ship it up the next day, and we put it in our beer. So we do a couple of interesting things like that. But for now, we stick to the standards. Obviously, a goal for us is to get a little more crazy on the spectrum, but we will not right now be that beer. We're kind of just happy giving you classics because everyone loves those. Can't go wrong.
And that's, like I said, it's refreshing to come into a place and you don't have to like start playing like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to look this up on my phone real quick,
Yep.
I can just be like, a pale ale.
That's
I
us.
like pale ales.
Yep.
I can't wait to have one.
Yeah. We like them all.
I mean, it's a good, your pale ale's right on point too. It's nice. It
Thank
has
you.
a little bitterness, little fruit in there, a little citrus.
Yeah. Not too crazy, but easy
Very
drinking.
drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, since you're kind of out, I wouldn't say Amery's out in the middle of nowhere.
No.
But we definitely are in the northern part of, starting to be the northern part of
Yes,
Wisconsin.
we are.
Would you say that people's palates, once you start getting up here, are a little different than like the extremes of the craft beer world where
Minneapolis or something.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I would say you can see that by our tap list. We obviously have a domestic on tap, which is probably a lot different than most craft breweries.
Which is not a Busch Light.
Right. It's not a Busch Light. We do have McGolden Light.
To be fair to McGolden Light, though, that is a regional beer.
It is a regional beer.
Props where props are due.
And I think we know where we're located, and we understand that everyone who comes in here isn't going to love craft beer, and that's okay. We want you to just come and enjoy the experience. And the fun part of it is you can have someone who likes a McGolden. Hey, I want a McGolden. You want to try our pale ale before you try that? And a lot of times you can actually get people to kind of jump into something easy drinking.
Yeah. I actually appreciate that. I got a family that is like just widely picky,
as do I. And to be honest with you, and where I had grown up, Michelob Amberbach was considered like the dark beer.
Yep.
And that was really going out on a ledge for a lot of them.
Right.
You're like, hey, I drank an Amberbach the other day. And you go, good? No, I tried a dark beer. Oh, yeah.
And people's misconceptions of dark beer, right? Like we have a brown ale. Our brown ale is actually pretty light. And so a lot of people, I don't like dark beer. Well, how about you just try this? And you'll find that, actually, I maybe only drank something really light I'll drink an amber because
Yeah.
that's only a little bit on the malty side, not too heavy. Oh, your brown ale is actually not super dark. Cool.
There's one thing I've learned about Wisconsin beers. Wisconsin loves amber ales.
Oh, they love them.
Wisconsin will love
Yes,
ambers. A
I
good
know.
Sweet amber. You can sell it to everyone.
It's amazing. We love amber ales. We use amber ale and when it's on tap in all of our. We have beer brisket. We have beer cheese sauce.
Ooh,
Amber
yeah.
ale is the one that does it all.
Such a workhorse beer that
Yeah.
doesn't get any praise.
I know. We're a big fan.
And that was the great thing about the menu. So we had food when we were here the other week, and I think we almost ordered the entire menu. I'm glad we didn't, and I think my wife was very hungry. So it was like,
And
we'll
it's
have
huge.
We'll have a pizza, and we'll have a pretzel, and we'll have this, and we'll have that.
Did you
And I
get
was
the
like,
nachos?
No,
Oh,
but
good.
we saw someone that had the
They're
nachos.
amazing.
But by the time we filled up our table,
Yes.
which was completely full of food, it was very good that we didn't get the nachos because we would have taken the nachos home without ever eating a nacho.
Yeah, and they're huge.
Yeah, they are huge.
And so many people will come but I want the nachos and I want the pizza. And you're like, that is great. You're going to
Yes,
take
you do.
some home,
But
man.
you should also just make another trip. Come
Yes.
again.
Come again.
Places like this are so clutch for Wisconsin, though, because, like, you bring family from out of town. Like, you go to the mom and pop in town that just serves the same food as everyone else. You're like, or we can go, like, there's, like, these little nuggets, like you guys,
Yes.
kind of scattered throughout the countryside that make really good food. Like, better food than what the area maybe would have otherwise. And you can be like, I'll take you to the Amery Ale Works. Everyone will be happy. Like, they'll have good, you're not, like, taking them to the
And
diner.
it's an experience, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
I
what
mean
we
that's
are.
and that's what you're trying to create is an
Yes.
experience. Even when the weather isn't perfect, you can come in and you're still getting an experience because you're in a barn. And it's very obvious once you sit down for 2 minutes, if you actually look around and you're not on your phone, that it is a barn, and it's an experience rather than going to like a Perkins or
Yes.
someplace like that.
That's the best part of Wisconsin. We have all this natural beauty, and it's like, well, like Wisconsin. No one's like going to Wisconsin for the cities. It's like, oh, Wisconsin is the best cities to go hang out in. It's like, yeah, you're gonna come here. You're going to be in the country. You wanna
Oh,
be out- you
yeah.
wanna be
Yeah,
outside.
we're gonna take you out to the country, and by the way, and of course, the people that are listening to this, obviously, we can't show you, but the patio space that you have out here is beautiful.
It's fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
and the fire pits and all of that. So even if you're here at night, it's still
It's awesome. Nighttime is kind of the fun time in the summertime. We've got fire pits going during the daytime. We've got beanbag boards, family friendly. You'll have little kids running around playing beanbag boards. I don't know. It just makes you happy.
Yeah.
Summer out here is our happy time. Winter's happy for the opposite reason. It's super
Right.
cozy inside. Just a unique space.
And beer
And-
warms you up.
and
Yeah.
even the night that we were here, I think the fire pits were still going. But obviously, if you're from Wisconsin or even just from the Midwest, where just a little bit of warmth is cool enough to be outside, like
Oh, yeah.
just start a fire and I'll go hang out by the fire.
Right? That was that day.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 25 degrees, maybe
Good
cooler than that. People are like,
Oh, yeah.
we'll go outside.
Oh,
There's a
yeah.
fire
I got
going.
a
It's
vest
fine.
in the car. I'll be fine.
When we took our patio chairs off, everyone was like, "Can I eat outside?" And you're like, "Well, it's 18, I guess, if you want to, but we,
Right.
we
I won't stop you.
it's Wisconsin. Be you."
Do you just want to hold your food in
Yeah,
your hands and
be
stand
you.
outside? You do whatever you want.
People get so damn stir crazy in this state sometimes when it comes to winter that they'll just
Well,
literally.
Oh
then
yeah,
you-
you
and
get a
then you-
nice damn winter, and everybody is
I was at the gas
excited.
station. It was like the first 50-degree day. I was at the gas station. I was the only guy wearing pants, and everyone else had shorts on. I was like, guys, it's still March. Let's like pump the brakes, maybe.
Well, then
That's
you
Wisconsin.
throw a pandemic on it where everybody was inside for
Oh,
so
yeah.
long, and you just go, I can't be inside anymore.
Oh yeah,
Just don't. I want to do everything outside.
everybody
now.
wants to be outside.
Speaking of pandemic, hopefully you'll remember whatever it is you were going to ask.
I was gonna
because
say the next beer.
I'm older than you, and I'll forget. So, how did you adjust or like pivot for the pandemic? I mean, obviously every business had to do something.
Right. So we obviously were closed for a while.
Yep.
We reopened and we did, I think, takeout for a week. And then they actually reopened bars at limited capacities
Sure.
here.
Sure.
Lucky for us, we have a team of people. Most of our employees have jobs outside of this.
Yep.
So we do have a little leeway of if we close, people have something else that supports them. So that was one thing that was helpful. is just that not everyone relied on this. So being closed was not great, but probably a little bit different adjustment than some businesses.
Yep.
And then once we did reopen, I mean, just the flexibility of the staff. So obviously rules changed overnight. I remember meat costs. We reopened and like
Right.
to get our brisket, it was like, we're not having brisket. So unless people want to pay $40 for nachos, ain't happening. And just the fact that the team could adjust to all that. Supply chain was out of whack. I remember one week we couldn't get shredded pizza cheese. So we were hand shredding blocks of like mozzarella and pepper jack. So flexibility got us through it. The fact that you have to change.
Right.
You know that you have to adjust to keep people coming in the door, and really just working with not only your staff but the patrons. Like, what makes you feel the most comfortable? What can we do? Do you have any suggestions? And we're lucky. I mean, we had great patio space, so we weathered summer well, probably comparative to some folks. And then we're used to a slow winter here in Wisconsin. So
by
you just
definition,
adjust.
every winter is a slow winter.
Right? You know, you downshift, you make adjustments, and you're smart. Like when we were closed, we actually redid repairs and maintenance that had to be done that you couldn't do when you're operating.
Right.
And I think you saw that in a lot of businesses.
No, yeah, for sure.
They stopped. They remodeled. They did things.
You had that window of like, well,
if I'm closed anyway, I might as well do all the floors again and do all the hard stuff that I can't. So that we did those same things.
That's good. Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
which beer would you recommend next, the Holiday or the Brown?
Ooh, let's go with the brown ale next.
Boom. I was hoping you'd say that.
This is one of my favorites. So it's lighter than a lot of the brown ales that you'll traditionally have. We make a pretty light, easy drinking brown ale.
That's very good, though.
Yeah, little malty.
But still a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah, not too.
Yeah.
Just a little bite of that kind of roasty malt bitterness, but you also got a little sweetness to kind of balance that out in there.
Yeah.
Little bready, but
this is the one that we kind of flip between. We'll have amber ale or a brown ale on top.
Sure.
Usually one or the other.
brown ales might be like one of my overall favorite beer styles.
I love brown ale.
I drink a weird amount of brown ales.
How often do you go to a place now and you actually see a brown ale?
Ooh, actually, I would say I sometimes see it more.
Do you?
Really?
Maybe you go to way different places
I don't
than
know.
I do.
I've been up north a lot.
I need to start going.
South Shore and their fantastic.
I need to start.
Nut brown.
Sure.
I would say overall a lot of breweries kind of gone away from the brown ales, but like I don't know, you come to a place like this, you see a brown ale, it's like finally.
And like yesterday, we had a busy patio day, and I would say our biggest seller was the pale ale and the brown ale.
Yep. You know, once again, a lot of breweries are always chasing trends and stuff, and they kind of forget how much workhorse like a good pale ale can be, a good brown ale, like, you know, that mass, just everyone likes them. People have already been conditioned to know what a brown ale is.
Yes.
You don't have to teach them.
No. And that's what we do here.
What's a Grotzky? You're like, oh, let me explain to you a Grotzky. You can just be like, oh, it's a brown ale.
Yes, which is, I mean, I appreciate the folks who do that, and I think you can taste some amazing beer styles. We just don't have the bandwidth or the manpower, so we kind of stick with what we know.
Huh.
And we try to do a mix, right? So you always usually see something dark, something light. We don't usually have a porter, a stout,
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic, though.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
That's very drinkable, obviously.
And then we do, what else do? We do Kolsch's, we do Hefeweizens. We make a fantastic Hefeweizen.
That's kind of an underappreciated beer style.
Yes,
the
that one's
Hefeweizen.
one of our favorites.
People go nuts for Hefeweizens when they get them, but no one makes them anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I had Nickel Fire sometimes like, what do you got for Hefeweizens right now? And I'm like, nothing.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I think we tried to do we do a beer vlog every week. So a video version of this, a somewhat shorter version of this. I think I tried to do a Hefeweizen week once, and I went to the store.
Nothing.
Oh.
I think I found one.
Oh, wow.
And it was one that we'd already done. So.
Oh, no.
So you go, well, never mind. Just try to find another summer type beer that we can do, But I think I know one place offhand that does a Hefeweizen year round. And that's it.
Yeah, you definitely don't see them year round, but it is a great summer.
And it's not even in Wisconsin.
I finished my sample glass of the brown already. That's how good it was. So. Sorry, guys.
Let's be honest. It's a Sunday, and you just want to drink.
Sunday.
Sunday, and I'm at home with like a
3
3-week-old baby, so it's like alcohol. It tastes so good.
Yeah. Well, wait till you have a 12 and 11-year-old.
Tastes even better.
It's the same thing. They're just different ages. You just drink for different reasons.
To which I go, well, you guys actually have a seltzer on, too. How does that been going?
Yeah, so seltzer, obviously, big summer seller.
Yeah.
We just started it this past winter. So we will see how it goes. I would say this last 2 weekends where it's like warm and nice out.
Right.
People have been ordering seltzer like crazy. Yeah. Again, a nice option for non-craft beer drinkers.
Is it just a regular seltzer or do you got a fruit in there?
We add different flavorings depending on what you like. Yeah.
So you make the base and then you choose your own adventure.
Yes. And then we can flip them out. So yeah, and then we also we obviously have the craft beer. We've got our own in-house seltzer, and then we do wine and craft cocktails.
Oh.
So we do like sake Bloody Marys, different sake cocktails. We have some wine-based like margaritas, Irish cream. So we love our craft beer, but we understand not everyone does.
Right.
So we kind of mix it in, and you'll also find, our regulars who might drink beer 80% of the time, 10% of the time might order something else.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And that's kind of part of the game up in these, like when you're at these outposts, you have to accommodate most.
You have to accommodate.
You have to. You have to do it. When you're in the cities, you can get if you're in a massive city, you can get super particular.
Yep.
But not in these kind of places.
Not here, and especially what we are selling is the experience. And
Right.
so we understand in a group of 10 people, not all 10 are going to want craft beer.
We all have that
Hopefully
uncle.
we can introduce you to some of it, and if not, we just want you to come and have fun.
Places like this too are really good ambassadors for the craft beer. Like
Yes.
you guys, when you bring people out for these adventures, they might be a person who wouldn't go to a brewery otherwise, and you never know. You could always snag in a new convert there.
That's the fun part.
And this is the good
Those are the fun patrons.
Oh.
Oh, you don't like craft beer? Well, let me give you some samples and let's talk about it.
yeah. And then sometimes you come away like, that didn't work, but other times you're like, got another one.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing how many times you can get somebody to actually try craft beer who's only a domestic beer drinker and they like it.
Yep.
But they never maybe had that experience before. So
Yep.
it's been fun.
Yeah. And people are more accepting of new things when they're having a good time and in a good spot.
100%.
So if they're out here, they're on the patio, they're like, oh, this stout's tasting great or
Yep.
whatever,
100%.
Or if they've had a couple before they arrive here.
You know,
then
that's not wrong either.
I mean, we are in Wisconsin. Let's be honest.
That's not wrong either.
Especially up in the kind of the hinterlands here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we, for a short time, we both worked in a brewery too, serving people. And there's always those people that get drug along that are like, I don't want to be in a brewery.
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually somewhat amazing how sometimes the first thing you get to a table, hi, what can I get for you? Let me tell you, realize I don't like beer. Okay,
Oh, nice to meet you.
let's start over, and that's okay. You're welcome here. And
Yep.
I think that's what we found is, some ladies will come, not ladies, gentlemen too. Some people are wine drinkers only, and that's okay. We got great wine.
Right. Yep.
It's been it's actually been interesting to grow with people. What do you want? That's how we got craft cocktails with our sake is people asked for it.
No.
Hey, can we get more fun, different things? Okay, let's figure that out.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And that's great that you actually listen to the people.
We try to grow with our folks. Yeah. We know that we're a small community, so you want to keep people coming back. And if people have suggestions, obviously we can't do them all. Yeah. I can't grow into a 10-barrel brewery overnight. I only have so much time. But if you've got things, you don't
have a fermenter you can just set aside to barrel age something in it.
Wouldn't that be great, though?
For like a year and a half or something. Yeah.
I'd want to drink that one.
Yeah.
I'd love to lager this for 6 months, but
Someday. On the list. We just keep saying, put it on the list.
That list gets exponentially bigger all the time,
doesn't
it? Yeah.
But eventually we, get things off the list.
Chip away at it.
Yeah, we finally got real tap handles. So, we're getting there.
That's progress.
Yeah,
I would call that
all
progress.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to lie, I'm excited to try this holiday one.
Yeah, so the holiday.
Let's take a break just for a second. We're going to take a break for our sponsor.
Come back and try
then we're going to come back and try a couple more beers, talk a little bit more about Amery Ale Works, and then, of course, we'll end it with all of the great details about how you can get to Amery and what you'll experience when you get here.
Boom.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll be right back. This podcast is sponsored by Grazie Aveda Concept Salon and Paradise Massage, where whole body care is their specialty. Now offering massage, nail, and hair care services tailored to everyone's individual needs. They're conveniently located at 4638 Gulf Road in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, or find them online at graziesalon.com. All right, we're back. We're going to finish off the two beers that Jenna has poured for us. By the way, we're at Amery Ale Works in Amery, in case
you forgot.
You just forwarded halfway through the podcast, which if you do that, that's very uncouth. You should not do that.
Yeah. I feel like I do that sometimes.
I don't feel like I use the word uncouth very often, so I need to work that into my vocabulary a little more. I think the next on the list, Holiday Ale. Yeah,
our Holiday Ale. So this one's got some spice to it.
Ooh.
Allspice, cinnamon, and coriander.
Definitely get the coriander and cinnamon right on the
nose.
Yeah.
It jumps right out of there.
We did a beer pairing for Valentine's Day, and this one was paired with a carrot cake. And
nice.
It was a really fun pairing because the allspice from the beer mixed well, obviously, with the carrot cake spices.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say the ABV on this guy is?
5.5.
I was going to say, it's a nice... a lot of times people get a little too heavy with their winter ales
Yep.
or holiday ales. It's kind of nice to have a more sessionable one.
Yep.
You know?
I had an incredibly hard time finding holiday type ales, the spiced beers this winter. I went out with the intention of finding several of them,
And there weren't a ton.
No.
And honestly, we brewed this and we ran out, so we brewed it again.
Wow.
We liked
That's
it
great.
so much
That's
that
it.
we did double batches of this guy, which is the last week of this keg. I think we've got 6 pours left in there. So lucky for you.
A little
you get
less
one
now.
of them, right?
Feels good to win.
But yeah, it was a fun one. It's the first year that we've actually done a holiday ale. And it turned out well.
I would do it. Yeah, I would do it again.
Yeah.
Nice amber copper color on there. It's nice and clear. It has all
Yeah.
kinds of great flavor.
We say it's a love it or hate it beer. It's got some kick to it. So when we give samples, it's like you're either going to love this and you're going to want a full glass, or you're going to be like,
Yeah.
not my style. And that's okay.
That's kind of what we've experienced with like
Anytime
pumpkin
ales.
Same
Really,
deal.
the second you start putting spice in anything, you're going to lose
Right.
a portion of the
Yep.
population instantly, whether that spice be coriander or jalapeno. You
Yep.
know, you're going to lose. I don't like coriander, but that same person would pound a jalapeno beer or something. It's like
Yes.
everyone has such weird
Palettes.
when you get to the adjuncts. But that being said, my expert palate would say this is a solid holiday.
Good. Thank you. We've really enjoyed it.
Troy's now the expert
The
palate.
expert
Yeah, just say as far as my palate and expertise are
Yes.
concerned.
Well, what was fun about this one was we had quite a few people come who really don't like, a different beer. And this is one that folks consistently drank.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like my biggest complaint a lot of times with holiday beers is kind of like I was saying a second ago, is like they just get so high on ABV and you just get all that boozy. And I'm not a huge fan of boozy flavors in beers unless it's supposed to be there. So it's kind of nice to have a holiday beer without that
Yep.
attached to it. So it's actually making me very happy.
Very sessionable beers here at Amery Ale Works.
Yeah. Well,
And that's great. I would say if you get a lot of people in here that
Come by
are
car.
new
Yes.
to the craft, and granted, 2021, you would think, oh, not everybody's new to the craft beer world. Yeah, there are a lot of people still new
still
to the
are.
craft beer world.
100%.
So yeah, that wave hasn't hit northern Wisconsin that hard yet.
No, not really.
I mean, it's coming and it's happening, but we're not.
I get my father-in-law, who's from near here. I get him to drink one craft beer a year,
Yep.
and that's
Yeah.
about it. And then it's like, well, do you want a PBR?
Yep.
Or do you want an MGD? I guess if it's free, sure. Yep.
Yep.
Why not?
We're moving on then, huh?
One of our highest percentage ABV beers that we make actually is a ginger beer.
Oh,
So we do
yeah.
a house-made ginger beer, of course, not on tap right now, but we rotate it in. And that is one of our highest alcohol-based beers here, which we sometimes laugh at, that out of all of them, the higher one is our ginger beer.
what does that come in at?
8 to 9%, depending on
Ooh.
how we brew it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, I especially as I get older, especially you're coming to places like here where you have to drive. It's nice that you don't have to for me, make that compromise. You come in, you're like, oh, this beer looks awesome, but it's 10%, but I really want it. It's just, you got...
And maybe 2.
Yeah.
But you got a bunch of sessional beers on, so it's like, oh, I can drive here, have a couple, and not have to concern with the travel home,
Yes. Once in a blue moon, we'll bring in somebody else's who's a high one. And we're very much, hey, we just want to let you know as you drink this. 10% are here, man.
Prepare for war.
Did you drive yourself, or do you have someone that's capable of doing
friends?
that? Yeah. Or is that why you're here, because you don't have friends?
Good place to make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
make you a friend.
We'll make you a friend. That should be your tagline.
At Amery Ale Works, we will make you a friend. Or you will become ours. Because half the time folks come in. We get a lot of people coming by themselves.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're the best. You get to hang out. Patrons are the best.
And that's one of the nicest things about when we came in. Obviously, my family and I were total strangers.
Yep.
And a lot of the time when you go to, and it's not even just here, it's Wisconsin, when you go to a smaller area, when you walk into a place, you're used to the door opening and everybody staring at you.
Yes, that is not the case here. It's like,
that is
a seat.
not,
where are you from?
Yep, not
is
the
it your
case here.
first time?
The most friendly, what I would consider towny place that I have ever been to, where I opened the door and nobody looked at me.
Oh no,
You get that moment of like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
I went, oh. All right. Yeah, we'll sit down.
And everybody wants, like I would say, as long as we're not so busy that we can't talk, we love, hey, where are you from? Tell me your story. Why are you here? Is it your first time? And it's amazing. I mean, we've had people come from far away who've heard about you. So it's nice to kind of put faces to the people sitting here and their experiences as well.
Yeah, and that was great. The night that we were here, it was super busy. Which was great. We still got great service. And then Candy was still, like I said, Candy was still,
why are you here?
Why are you here? Is this your first time? What are you doing? How was the food? And then she found out what we were doing. And she's like, oh, you're going to love Jenna. Jenna's going to be great. And it was like the best ending to a visit that, we've ever been to a place. It was like, you felt supercharged when you were going out the door.
Like, all right. They're like happy that we're here.
Wow, that's great.
And we are. If I can say anything, like we're happy that people are here. That's why we're here. It's for the experience. And if you keep coming back, like that's us. Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Shall we move on to the stout?
We can. This is, I did not have this one the time that I was here. I don't think there was a stout on.
There was not a stout on.
Yeah.
We put it on this week.
I would say on the SRMs, that's probably rocking a solid 38, 39.
For those that aren't aware what an SRM is, Troy, why don't you explain to them real briefly?
The standard referencing method. So that's on a scale 1 through 40, 40 being like a Guinness. Say this,
there you go.
For a stout, this is probably around a 38.
You're also our SRM expert.
Where do you guys get your water from? Like just like a well or?
Yeah, so we're on well water. We add nothing to it. Fantastic water.
Yeah.
Because like the more you learn about beer, the more you realize how crucial water is. And like when you go back through European styles, British styles, or whatever, like the water is so effective. So I always find it funny when breweries like yourselves open up and you're using your own water sources and just kind of what that makes your beer yours because that's your water.
Yep. I would say we have very good water here on the property in Wisconsin, and I can't believe we keep up. I mean, right? So my little well runs the barn, the brewing, my house. I mean, multiple things.
Yeah.
Eventually the swimming pool, right?
Right? Wouldn't that be great? Add it to the list.
Add it, yeah. Put that one on the list. Just say the
Swimming
Taproom
pool,
Traveler guy suggested
hashtag maybe hot tub.
Ooh. We got skating rink.
We're
like, ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I actually like that idea.
Yeah, skating rink and drinking is dangerous.
I know. We're like, who's going to man that, though? But wouldn't it be fun?
Let's get beer in people and then strap blades onto their feet.
And no offense to short people, but honestly, skating is more for short people.
We're fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys are great at a lot of things. Bowling, because you're lower to the lane. Oh. I'm 6'4", so
Landon's a bowler.
Yeah. Skating,
no,
not a good thing.
Bowling,
bowling, I do.
Okay.
But since I'm an old man, the back goes out. So, yeah. Yeah, it's tough being tall and older than you actually are.
I would say the stout is it got a nice little roast to it, nice little caramel back note to it, but otherwise, I'm assuming there's no coffee added, but you still get that kind of roasted
there is
bitterness.
no coffee to this. So this is our standard stout that we typically would add the coffee to if we did our coffee stout.
Just a nice, easy drinking stout, a little bitter,
And there's a real, and going back to the water, there is a real clean finish to every one of these beers.
Thank you.
So
that's always one of my last questions I ask. I try to work my way through them and be like, was there a noticeable water impact? Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But
well, and it's something that always impacts beer, but we talk about it, but we don't talk about it, I think, enough.
Yeah. Well, some places also will go through like filtration systems, which at that point, it just becomes bland, I guess.
Yeah, we're just
lucky.
Water. Like in city water, you're on a different story.
Right.
And we're definitely not on city water, which is awesome.
Well, and depending on what city you're in.
Huge differences.
Who knows what you're combating then?
Exactly.
And that, in Wisconsin as a whole just has great water.
I love
there's
Wisconsin
lakes
water.
everywhere. We get great snowfall. We get precipitation. We have wells everywhere. The Great Lakes aren't that far away. We are one of the most water fortunate places in the world. So.
I would agree with that.
With the exception of the Mississippi. No?
Why you don't like?
Is it great water?
Oh, I don't know.
Looks dirty.
I would probably Mississippi would probably be good water.
I'm like, I guess I don't know.
Boy, I really took you guys for a turn.
Yeah, you're testing
where's he
our
going
water
with this?
knowledge.
I grew with the Missouri. It looks clean.
Yeah. Mississippi probably would be cleaner if it wasn't for us.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Especially down by the New Orleans. By the time it gets to New Orleans, it has to be stanky.
It is. Have you ever been to New Orleans?
Nope.
It's a whole nother deal down there. But that's why we stay in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's like a uniform thing in this area too. Is people just have like really good soft, like fresh water supply. It gives us a unique terroir here in this part of the state world.
Terroir. There you go with that one.
I'm just dropping words.
Because of your fancy words. Very impressed.
That's just
I read a
Troy.
book.
You won't get anything. You won't get anything fancy over on this end of the bar. Anyway, great solid beers.
Feels good to be out. It feels good to drink. It feels good to be in a nice spot. Everything here, especially coming out of COVID life here.
We're slowly coming out of it, but it
feels good.
We're happy to be back on the road again and actually in places instead of.
You're literally the best brewery I've been to in a year. So.
We're your first one. You need to say that 3 episodes from now.
But yeah, so thank you so much for having us out. If people want to come and visit you here at Amery Ale Works, how can they do that?
Well, the first thing I would say is it's a must.
Well, yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yeah. So all year round, we are open Thursday from 4 to 9, Friday from 4 to 10, and Saturday from 12 to 10. So that is summer, winter, fall, always open.
Yep.
And then in the summertime around June, we add Sunday hours, which are 12 to 7 as well.
Okay.
So not open really during the week. We're a long weekend type of place. Our website is www.ameryaleworks.com. Really tricky.
Yeah.
We've got all of our good info there, so you can see a snippet of our menus. You can find our address. You definitely want to put the address in the Google to find us because we are on a county road. We're not right in town.
It's going to be a fun journey.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's actually beautiful drive, beautiful property.
Get out of town for a hot minute,
100%. Still close to Amery, so plenty to do if you do make a trek from somewhere far away.
Need a gas station.
Lots of stuff around.
We're not that far away from the Twin Cities for those kind of people.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. We're about an hour, a little over an hour from the Twin Cities.
Sure.
I was just thinking this place could have really saved me a lot of time and energy back in the day because me and the wife got engaged at a brewery, but then when we got married in a barn, you could have just consolidated that down to one spot.
Yes.
You kind of got engaged and married at a brewery barn.
Yes. So that's what we have moved into. We do events on top of just being open as a tap room and restaurant.
Yep.
So we do everything from retirement parties, birthday parties, graduations. We have a private event space on the 2nd and 3rd floor of our barn. So we are definitely not limited to just being a brewery. So that is something for folks to consider. We do weddings, smaller in scale, but a little bit of everything. So It's kind of a good mix. We have an Airbnb on site.
There's no excuse.
awesome.
As well.
Yeah.
So we've kind of got like this just fun little place out in the middle on a country road in a barn.
But not on
worth
a
the
gravel
stop.
road. For those of you that are opposed to driving
Yes,
on
right?
gravel roads, this is paved.
This one's paved.
Yeah.
And it's now open to ATVs and UTVs.
Oh, really?
there you go.
So folks can totally bring all their side-by-sides and fun ATV, UTVs. So we get a lot of that in the summer now. And we're not far from the big trail that comes through town. We're also really close to a major bike trail that goes all the way to Dresser, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Wow.
So lots
Dresser,
of ways
bustling
to get here.
metropolis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a grocery store.
They have lots of things like the grocery store
And a
and
cheese
the bike trail.
And the bike trail.
But yeah, we hope people come out. Summer, obviously, we've got great patio seating. We do all sorts of events, so we post those on our website. We do things from trivia nights to live music. We do a big Mother's Day vendor fair this year.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and timely too. So
Yeah, we're excited.
still got time to plan for Mother's Day.
I know. You
usually-
can bring your mom on Saturday for a great day of
Usually
craft beer
I
or fun cocktails.
I forget it's Mother's Day, and then my excuse always is to my wife is, "You're not my mother." So I don't know what the kids did for you, but I did not.
That goes over so well.
Yeah, it's
Wayne
been
is
going-
like batting 100
it's
every
been
year.
going. It's been going on for a while now, and
Well, see, now you can bring her to the Amery Ale Works Mother's Day vendor fair.
well, she was here
Have
with me
some
the
craft
last
beer.
time, and she loved the place. So I don't think that'll be a problem bringing her
Right?
back here. So that's good. Small little tidbit for those of you that are actually listening in Eau Claire, where we're from. Jenna's actually from Eau Claire, so and I know we left that for the end of the podcast, so hopefully you stayed with us. But yeah, grew up
in Eau Claire,
in Eau Claire.
Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not too far
like,
away. Yeah,
went to
west.
school like 5 blocks away from where I live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Fun little fact.
I
It's a
know.
small world.
Yeah.
Yeah, always is. So anyway, thank you again, Jenna. Do you got anything more, Troy?
Just,
You were waving your microphone like you had something.
no, just in there. It's an ideal spot. Come on up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. So thank you all for listening. We appreciate Jenna for having us out, and of
Thank
course,
you for the beers. Yeah.
Heck
yes,
yeah.
of course, for the beer. Hopefully, you guys will listen to the rest of our podcasts. We're gonna be in all kinds of ideal locations.
Hopefully. Yeah, it's a good way to
drinking
kick it
beer,
off.
right? Yeah. So thank you again, and we'll talk to you guys later.
I'm waving. I don't know.